Hello everyone and welcome to our lecture 5 in which we're gonna discuss currency derivatives. So let me first introduce you to the topic. So as you may know, in this class we are focusing on MNCs, multinational companies, very big corporations that are basically operating not only in one country but in many countries. We can have so many endless examples from our daily life: McDonald's, KFC, Mercedes, etc. So today we need to shed some light on some instrument needed so much by these organizations, which is derivatives. So as we can see from the definition of derivatives, as the name indicates actually, now let's forget the word currency, focus on derivative. Something, it's an asset in which the value of it is derived from something else. So the value of this asset will move up and down based on not the value of it itself, but on the value of some other asset. That's why we call it derivative. It derives its value from something else. Now we add the word currency. So when we discuss derivative, it can be any asset, right? However, when we discuss currency derivative, we are specifying derivative for currencies. So it's based on some currency. If the currency appreciates, the value of the derivative shall also appreciate, and vice versa. If it depreciates, the other would depreciate as well. So let's read the definition together. Currency derivatives are contracts between seller and buyer whose value is to be derived from the underlying asset, not the value of it itself, but some other asset. In our case, it's basically a currency value. So it's a financial instrument, which is the currency here. In general, it can be any, so a derivative can be for any asset such as stock, futures, commodity, or a currency, or an index also. Okay, so a derivative based on currency exchange rates is an agreement that the two currencies may be exchanged at a future date at a stipulated rate. Okay, so let's go back to the main topic. MNCs. Why do they need Why do they need currency derivatives in the first place? We just said that McDonald's or any Malaysian company operating outside of Malaysia, at the end of the day, these amounts of money might also go back to Malaysia. So we need to know, when we convert this money at the end of the year, how much money it's gonna be in our local terms, in ringgit. I don't care about USD, I care about ringgit, because my shareholders are Malaysians. One more example can be import and export, right? So we are producing some material. To produce it, we need raw materials. We might buy raw materials from different parts of the world. However, when we import, we pay in foreign currency. So this foreign currency price must be determined in order for me to determine my cost of production. So you ask me, what's the cost of this item? I cannot tell you right now. I need to import some raw materials, determine the raw materials, then maybe increase the price based on my profit margin. So one of the things we need to determine is our cost price. Cost price, as you may know, cost of goods sold is based on the raw materials of the product. So I need some amount of money ready at a specified day at every month to buy raw materials. So I buy raw materials from all over the world. I need different kind of currencies to pay for these raw materials. However, what's the problem? I do not want my cost to be uncertain. I want my cost to be certain at this moment. How Of course, by knowing how many units of foreign currency I need to purchase my raw materials. So to do that, you need to convert your money to that money, to that different currency, foreign currency. However, we know the spot rate. If you want the money right now, you go to Bukit Bintang, over the counter, you buy the foreign currency you need. However, you might need it after a few months. You don't want to waste your money right now. You want to wait for 2 months and buy. So sometimes, or in most times, you don't even have the money right now. So businesses don't keep so much cash sitting on the side, right? They always are engaged in some business operations. So again, let's go back to the example. So we need a specified amount of money, say 100,000 USD after 3 months. We don't want to exchange it right now. We want to wait for 3 months before we purchase it. However, the spot rate after 3 months is ambiguous, it's uncertain, it's unknown. We need to know it. How can we know it? Through these currency derivatives we're gonna discuss. So there are many instruments. In today's class, we will shed the light on the most important. So a currency derivative is a contract whose price is derived from the value of an underlying currency. We discussed that. These common currency derivatives are commonly used by MNCs. We discussed why. Are mainly forward contract. We're gonna discuss it in part 1. And we have currency futures and options. We will discuss it in part 2. So derivatives are used by MNCs. Why? To speculate on a future exchange rate movement. So sometimes the aim is just to speculate. Speculation, basically. You don't really care about the currency, but you just want to speculate. You believe, based on your vast experience in the Malaysian market, ringgit will depreciate. So you want to buy ringgit later. Okay? So based on that, you believe that the price will depreciate. So maybe it's better to sell your ringgit now and buy it later. Same with any other commodity, actually, but now it's a currency. So speculation, you don't really need the money for raw material or anything. You're just speculating. You believe it's gonna go up and you can profit from that. However, the more important aspect is hedging. What is hedging? I have a risk. Because of my business, it's real risk I'm gonna face. Why? Because I need to buy CPO from Malaysia. I need Malaysian ringgit. Okay? So it's not speculation. It's not for... I'm not playing here. I need raw materials to continue my production process. Okay? So this is what matters more. So hedging is basically to minimize my risk. How can I minimize my risk? By fixing the cost price. How can you fix the cost price of raw materials? By knowing how much exactly I'm going to pay from now. So since now, I need to determine how much money I need to import CPO from Malaysia. So this is, we call hedging. Okay, so hedging is a bit different from speculation, even though both might lead to profits or losses. So let's begin with the forward contract. So it's a private agreement. Private, okay? So it's an agreement privately designed or created for me and you. Okay, only me and you will use it. So you would notice that the amount of money you need, amount of foreign currency, might be very specified because this is tailored for me and you. It's private. It can be 7,265. Okay, if we both agreed. So between whom and whom? It's between a corporation, MNC, that needs to buy raw materials, whatever, need foreign currency, and a financial institution. So who's gonna help me with all of that? A bank could be the best option. So what's the contract gonna discuss? Exchange, a specified amount of currency. How much money exactly you need? Well, I need to buy raw materials of CPO from Malaysia equal to 1 ton, let's say it's equal to 1 million ringgit. So I need, or let's say 1,150,000. Okay, very specified number after negotiating the price with the CPO company. So I go to the bank, I tell the bank I need this specified amount of currency, not more, not less, because I don't care about Malaysian currency. I don't live in Malaysia. I only need to buy CPO from Malaysia. So I need Malaysian ringgit exactly sufficient to purchase the needed CPO. Now we're done with this. Number 2, a specified exchange rate. Why am I doing this whole thing? I am entering in this contract for one reason, right? I want to buy CPO from Malaysia. I don't want the price to be ambiguous in the future. I'd like to fix it right now. How can you fix it right now? Fix the rate. So let's fix the exchange rate right now. Malaysian ringgit to USD 4 in the spot market. You go to Bukit Bintang, you get 1 USD equal to 4 ringgits. However, if you want to purchase it after 3 months through a forward contract, the rate might be different. What are we going to call this rate? Forward rate. Simply forward rate. Number 3, now we're done with the amount you need and the rate in which we're gonna exchange the two currencies. Finally, when exactly do you need to exercise this contract or this forward price rate? Let's say exactly at 1st of June 2021. Okay, so specified date, specified amount, and specified rate. Now, to be clear, let's go through an example, a case study, and try to see how can we hedge through these currency derivatives. How MNCs use forward contracts to hedge their imports by locking in the rate, we discussed that, at which they can obtain the currency. So, we have an example. Tours is an MNC based in Chicago, American company. They need 1 million Singaporean dollars. Why? In 90 days. So we know when, after 3 months, I need 1 million Singaporean dollars. Why? To purchase imports, same with my example in Malaysia. Now from Singapore, they need to buy raw materials. So it can buy Singapore dollars for immediate delivery. So one way of doing it, very simple, we all can agree on it. You can go to the spot market right now and buy 1 million Singaporean dollars, put it in the safe, wait for 3 months and use it. You know the rate, you can use it anytime you want. However, theoretically, this is very nice. In practice, you and I and other businesses do not want to put money on the side for 3 months. So that's called inefficiency. If you have too much funds not being invested, it will affect your efficiency level. People will look at you and say, well, this guy has so much cash and he's not really profiting from it. So what's reasonable? What's more feasible here? I need the money after 3 months. I will buy the money after 3 months. I will convert my money to that money. However, we discussed that I don't want the rate to be unknown in the future because my whole business might suffer because the price of currency changed. So forward contract will help us to fix the price. Okay, so one way of doing it, let's discuss option number 1 first. Buy Singaporean dollars, immediate delivery, spot rate in the market, $1 equal, 1 USD equal 2 Singaporean dollars. Spot rate means you pay $500,000 USD, you get 1 million Singaporean dollar, keep it in the safe. We said we don't want to do that. However, we do not have the funds right now, okay? to exchange for the dollars, Singaporean dollars. However, we could wait 90 days and then exchange US dollars for US dollars for Singaporean dollars at the spot rate exercising at that time. Okay, so wait for 3 months and then go to the spot market and buy the funds. However, but Tours does not know what the spot rate will be at that time. No one knows. No one, literally no one knows. If anyone knows, they would benefit from it. So it's ambiguous, which means our raw material price would be also ambiguous, which is very bad for the business. So if the rate rises, what could happen? If this rate rises to 60 cents instead of 50 cents, what does this mean? Now you need 600K, 100K extra. It's not a joke. It's a lot of money. And remember, guys, when we deal with MNCs, we're talking about way bigger amounts than this. Compute it at, you know how to compute it, of course. You multiply the number of units by the rate. So you need an extra 100K, which can be disastrous for your business, for Tours here. So to avoid exposure to exchange rate risk, Tours can lock in the rate it will pay, as we discussed in forward contract, for Singapore dollars 90 days from now without having to exchange any US dollars for Singapore dollars right now. So you just sign the contract and go back to your business. After 3 months, come back here, bring your 1 million with you. I will give you, bring your 500, I will give you the million if the price we agreed on is 50 cents. Okay, so specifically, Tours can negotiate a forward contract with a bank to purchase the specified amount at the specified date you need. Now, after this example, let's do some analysis. Let's see what did we learn here? What do we need to know? Number one, which have been discussed before, now we're gonna discuss it in forward contract. First, bid-ask spread. Remember what we discussed about each currency? The price you buy and sell, there is a different rate. So we calculated the spread to see whether all currencies have the same spread. We found out that different currencies have different spreads due to many factors. Some of these factors can be the liquidity, acceptance of the people, faith in this currency, many other, stability in the country, many reasons. So now, of course, the spread will be bigger for less liquid currencies. So now this is something new. Do we have a discount? Do we have a premium or on the spot rate? So remember, guys, the spot rate is the price right now. The future spot rate is the price over the counter in the future. Okay. Now, forward rate is something else. Forward rate is agreed on right now, practiced in the future, but fixed, cannot be played with. So, do you think the rate after 3 months in the market, spot rate after 3 months, will be exactly the same as your forward rate? Of course not. 99.99%, it's not going to be the same. It's either higher or lower. Maybe higher too much, maybe lower too much. We don't know. Based on the currencies, based on the scenario in the market, the global economy, many reasons, right? However, we know it's not going to be very similar. So, what do we say if the price is better in the market? What do we say if the price is worse in the market after 3 months? So let's do that now. So based on this very simple formula, we calculate again the spread. We need F. What are the variables? F, forward rate, S, spot rate, P, premium, forward premium, or the percentage by which the forward rate exceeds the spot rate. So the forward rate can exceed the spot rate or be lower based on the contract, what's written in the contract. So when do we have an arbitrage? So we hear this arbitrage when the price is not the same. Okay, so if the forward rate was the same as the spot rate, arbitrage would be possible here. So will you benefit from this forward contract or not? Let's see here. Is the price lower or higher? You're gonna enter with. Some people would say, of course it's higher. No, sometimes the currency is depreciating against the USD. So the future rate should actually be lower than the rate right now. So it's not always like this. You first take a look at the history of the currency and then you estimate or expect the future. Okay, so if ringgit has been depreciating against USD for 4 years, consecutive years, depreciating a little bit. So forward expectation should be that it's also continuing to depreciate unless there is something very good happening in Malaysia at the moment, right? So forward rate is not always higher than the spot rate. It can be both based on the economic situation between these two currencies. So let's continue with the example. Spot rate right now, if you want to buy 1 British pound, you pay 1.681 USD. However, if you want to purchase it in the future, after 30 days, 1 month, the price is lower actually, 1.680. So you need less dollars to buy in the future. Why? Again, forward rate is not always higher than the basically spot rate. It can be both higher and lower. Okay, so based on this, we notice that the value is lower. So you need less USD if you want to buy in the future. Okay, 90 days, it's even lower, 1.677. 180 days, it's even lower. So we believe that the British pound has not been doing well against the USD, and that's why it's depreciating. So based on this very simple formula, you notice that the spread is, of course, larger for the longer period. So after 180, it's 1.07. However, 30 days, it's only 0.71. However, we notice the negative sign. What's this negative sign? Why do we have a negative sign? Because the future rate, the forward rate is lower than the spot rate. So it's at a discount. So the signal indicates the discount or premium situation. Okay, so I will end this video here and we will continue in part 2. Thank you very much for listening and sorry for any issue.